Hello once again everybody, and of course welcome to Wheel Puppets. Yes, and here we are with some of the things we're working on at the moment. And as promised, I told you we'd take a closer look at some of my manual controlling mechanisms, okay? Now in the past you've seen my animatronic mechanisms using servos and controllers and joysticks, things like that. If you haven't, go check that out. It's on my YouTube page somewhere. But in the meantime, let's show you what's going on. So if the cameraman can just have a quick glimpse of what's on the table, around the table here, and we'll go and take a look. So you'll be pleased to know, for those that have been following, we found Scooter's other ear. Yes, one of the dogs ran off with it, and a day and a half later it appears downstairs by the swimming pool on the grass. So there we go, Scooter's got his ear back. But with that said, let's take a look at what we've got here on the table, okay? So here is our Falco inspired build, which is of course from A Never Ending Story. That's my inspiration. This is his controller. It's one of my most sophisticated controllers. It operates 3 different parts of him. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll show those in a minute. This contraption here is his smoke machine. We have already shown you that. I won't be showing you that again today, but if you haven't seen it, go check it out in Facebook on Wheel Puppets or my YouTube channel, Alan Marriott. Okay. Now, what else we got? We've got our Scooter build that we've started here. We haven't put his hair on or anything, but we have started to create his hair. Okay, his little dreadlocks here, as you can see, and they're starting to look all right. They're just there at the moment while we look at things. We've got our Terry Pin, his head here, with his new remote, so I had to take him apart and do some fiddling around to put the new remote in. We'll show that in a minute. Here's his body, a bit headless, being looked after by our red alien there. Also, the red alien and the green alien have a trigger remote and an arm rod all connected together, which is beautiful. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's Scooter's body. Scooter's body is and clothes are being sorted out. These were a couple of false prints. I'm going to turn them into bookends. Yes, so if anybody wants some dragon paw bookends, let me know. This little chap here is going to be our finger glove puppet, sitting on the glove that I've still got to get round to. But it's all about the remote controls today. So let's have a look, shall we? First of all, let's take a look at one of my original remotes, okay? So this is one of my original manual controls. Has an arm rod attached to it. I don't use this arm rod. This is a welding rod, a bit too flimsy and bendy for my liking. And you would simply push up and down. The cable would come in here, going to the iMech or wiggling the ears or whatever it might have been. And that would have been the control. So pretty simple, pretty easy. Anybody can make that at home. Bit of wood, bit of cable to give that, this is a bit of pipe, okay, couple of thread bars like this, and then just put your rod on, attach your cable to wherever your movement of your eyes is, and there you go. So anybody can make that one, okay? If you haven't got a 3D printer and you don't know how to design 3D prints and things, I had to learn a lot to do that, but it was worthwhile. But if not, you can make something like this. So that was our first kind of model. Then I moved on to something like this one. Now this looks a little bit bizarre, has locking system. Now I pulled this one apart, so it's a little bit broken. It was just for me to show you. And basically this movement up and down, which you could do with one hand, that was the, oh, it's gone into lock, which you could do with one hand, okay? And that would do the blinking or the head movement or the mouth movement, whatever you want. And then you could lock it. This one was for eyes, so the eyes would be at a squint or they would be fully open and lock closed. So that's okay, and I still use this for things like this little dragon over here, which you have all seen, and I'll show you him again in a moment. Then the other one that I created, this was originally for Falco's eyes, because he has 2 independent eyes, so he can wink, left-hand, right-handed operator as well. He needed 2 controllers. This one was based off of this one. except I 3D printed it, put it together, put these little sliders in, the wires come out here, and then of course up and down movements. You can add springs if you want to, and then you have the opening and closing of the eyes, or winking like this, see? Okay, so that was nice, it worked well, and it would go like this, and you would have an arm rod also attached to that. Not for Falco, because he doesn't really have arms that need rods, but you get the idea. So I was happy with that, but it's still a bit tricky to use. If it was strapped to you, like it was designed to be actually, then it was easy, you know, but not everyone wants to strap things to them. Let's then take a look at some of the working mechanism. Let's start with a simple mechanism first of all. I'm going to come around to this one over here, and I want to show you first the mech, okay? So this is the mechanism, nice and simple. This one's got a nice lengthy cable on leading to the puppet of the body, and we just pull the trigger, and there we go. We have great eye operating movement. Look at that. Nice and simple, right? And then of course he's got his arm rod attached, which is great. Da 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 da. You see, it works absolutely beautifully. Okay, so we'll have a better look at that. Maybe I'll take a look at the green one just now. So that's the mechanism there. The rod is just here. Look, it goes over the hand, and this is the best place for it. You can cover that with red skin if you want to. You know, I haven't done that at the moment, but you absolutely could without any problem. Bop, bop. And it works beautifully, all like this, da da da, and it doesn't matter. You could put this on the other hand over there, and you know, left and right-handed. Really, it's really awesome. So really happy with the single trigger mechanism so far, and the same over here. Let's have a look. This one has a much shorter cable. Well, why? Just because, I guess. And let's pop this one on for a minute. Just like so. So there we go. La la. Oh, oh, hello, hello, hello. Oh yes. Oh. So, what do you think? What do you think? Peekaboo! Peekaboo! So there we go. This is, as you can see, it works pretty nicely. Arm movements, waving, ba 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 ba, and of course, eye mech. So that's our aliens that operate with the single trigger mechanism. A closer look at that there for you. Nice and simple, just pulling down on the trigger. For a full eye closure, you just release the trigger like that, and you can squint, and release. So there we go. That is our single trigger mechanism, as promised that I would show you. But now, in fact, before I go on to the triple trigger mechanism, which I'm using for Falco, and that doesn't include the smoke machine, I want to show you what I'm now making my rods out of on these two puppets. I'm actually using, this is a screw thread. I think it's a 4mm, okay? So it does have some bend to it, but they're nice and long, so you can cut it to any length you want. You bend the top over and put a little bit of shrink wrap, you know, the plastic shrink wrap that you just hair dry it and it'll and then just give it a spray, and it goes into the top of our controllers, as we've just shown you. If you can come into here, it just goes into the top of the controller there and attaches straight to the arm. So really awesome, wonderful stuff. Great for a single person to operate a puppet with. Now, Falco is one of our biggest puppets, inspired again from the Never-Ending Story, and here he is. And I've only done his head so far, but I'm pretty happy with him. He breathes smoke out of his nose, his ears waggle, he blinks, and he can wink with either eye. Now, to do the smoke is a separate machine that I've put together and built out of a vape machine, built a casing around it, put a pump in there, fixed it all together so it operates off the turning on and off of a switch, which clips onto your belt. Okay, it could go in the head, but the less weight in the head, the better, in my opinion. I did build this one for TV purposes and filming, or big stage productions. So this one will be operated ideally with 2 puppeteers. That will make life much easier, but it can be operated with 1. So I'd like to show you a little bit of this now. So without picking him up at the moment, let's have a look at the control. So if you want to come in, so first of all, you'll see it's very similar to the single trigger remotes that we just demonstrated. The only difference is this has got 2 triggers. One trigger, this one, is for his right eye, as you can see. Okay? Now the other trigger is for his left eye, as you can see. All right? And pull both, and he can squint. He can kind of have one eye bigger and one eye smaller. Doesn't matter which way round you want to do that, okay? And this can all be done one-handedly, of course. See? Nice and simple. Now, also, I've put a lock in here because you see my puppets, wheel puppets here, they always start with their eyes closed. Now, some people might not like this, but the reasoning for this is in storage, it's going to protect the nice, beautiful eyes inside, and it's not going to keep strain on the springs, which means it'll last much longer. So, to solve that problem, we've got a lock mechanism on this remote here. It's very simple. It just turns that way, or it turns that way. This is going to help with the winking. Now, if you look at the remote and the eyes, if you can, what we'll do is if we bring this one down, and we just lock it in. Now that eye remains open. Now, of course, he can wink nice and easily, you see? Or, of course, it's for left-handed and right-handed people. We can do it the other way around as well. This can all be done with one hand, easy enough, just like this. And then he can wink the other way, you see? Okay? What about the next thing? Well, the next thing, if we look on the back, you'll notice another cable coming out here. These 2 are for his eyes, but this one coming out of here is actually for his ears. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see this. You can see his ears wiggling? Yeah? Okay. Now, if you think about it, there's Falco. If you keep an eye on Falco there. And all I'm doing here is moving this one up and down with the thumb. And again, that can easily be done with one hand and the eyes open. You see? Just like that. All right? But now, if you look, he's wiggling his eyes. And when he's got his legs on and things, you'll be able to scratch his ears with his paw, and you know. And obviously that was the inspiration from Falco himself, because he did wink, and he did like his ears being scratched. He used to be like this. So I don't know if I can pick him up because I don't want to attach everything to my body, just for the sake of this this quick video. But let's have a look. Let's go this way around, I think. Just to see. We'll get him here. There we go. So let's put him on. There we are. So here he is.
Oh, hello, yeah. Oh, I can see beautifully. Oh, yes. Oh, gosh.
So if we wanted him to have a wink or something like that, it's pretty simple. Wink, wink, wink.
Oh, yeah. Wink, 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 wink. Oh, golly gosh.
And yeah, I'm pretty liking him. He's really awesome. And of course, his ears can wiggle. Wah, 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 la, la. And there we go. So that's our Falco inspired puppet and control mech, which I'm really happy with. I don't think I've missed anything yet. I think we've got everything. Oh, the Terry pin. We've been working on Terry pin. Now, there's a lot going on inside the Terry pin's head, and unfortunately, I'm not able to show you right now because I've kind of stitched him back up. You might be able to get a little peek in there. Okay, see all the workings. And this basically is a smaller version of what's going on in Falco's head. Now, this one, only the top eyelids move because we wanted him to look a bit dopey, a bit sleepy, like a stoner, you know what I mean? So let's, in fact, let me pop him on. There's his body over here being looked after by Red, and you know, we're going to put him back together later on. Whoopa! Thank you, Terrapin. You need some teeth. Huh? So here's Terrapin, and
Yeah, oh, hello,
hey, and yeah, that's how Terrapin works. So he's got nice eyes that just kind of pop open nicely, and again, all working quite beautifully, and it's all down to this little mechanism here. So so there we go. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you've learnt something from it. And like I said, I'm pretty happy with that so far, and that is our progress. I am going to be working on Falco's body pretty soon. I wanted to start it today. We'll see how it goes. If not today, I shall be starting that tomorrow, and I'll keep you posted. Do like the YouTube channel, do follow us on Facebook, but for now, we'll see you next time. Ciao!